The afternoon sun was starting to fade when Lisa walked into the community center for the third time that week. She had been volunteering at the homework help program for only a month, but it had already become the highlight of her days. After her recent divorce, she needed something to fill the empty hours when her daughter went to stay with her father. The center was buzzing with activity. Kids ran around with backpacks twice their size. Parents hurried in and out picking up their children, and volunteers tried their best to maintain some order in the cheerful chaos. Lisa loved this energy. It reminded her that life was still full of possibilities, even when everything felt broken. She set up her station at a small table near the window and waited for children to come ask for help with their homework. Soon, a line of eager faces appeared, each carrying crumpled worksheets and half-finished math problems. Lisa helped them one by one, explaining fractions to a third grader and listening to a fifth grader read a story about dinosaurs. But there was one child who caught her attention from the very first day. A small girl with dark curly hair always sat alone in the corner by the bookshelf. She never asked for help with homework. Instead, she spent her time drawing pictures with old crayons, her tongue poking out slightly as she concentrated on her artwork. The girl's name was Mia, and she was 7 years old. Lisa had learned this from Rosa, one of the other volunteers, but beyond that, Mia remained a mystery. She spoke in whispers when adults asked her questions, and seemed to watch everyone else's interactions with curious, careful eyes. On this particular Tuesday, Lisa noticed that Mia wasn't drawing her usual pictures of flowers and rainbows. Instead, she was sketching families. Picture after picture showed stick figures holding hands. Some had 2 adults and 1 child. Others had 2 adults and several children. All of them were smiling, and all of them stood in front of houses with triangular roofs and square windows. When snack time arrived, the children rushed to the small kitchen area where volunteers had laid out crackers and juice boxes. Mia hung back as usual, waiting for the crowd to thin out before getting her snack. Lisa watched as the little girl took a juice box and a small package of crackers, then retreated to her corner. Something about Mia's quiet presence tugged at Lisa's heart. Maybe it was the way she observed everything so carefully, or how she always made sure to clean up her crayons perfectly before leaving. Lisa decided to approach her. "Those are beautiful drawings," Lisa said, sitting down on the small carpet next to Mia's corner. "You're a very good artist." Mia looked up, surprised that someone had noticed her work. She smiled shyly and held up her latest picture. It showed 4 stick figures standing together, with the sun shining above them and flowers growing around their feet. "That's a happy family," Lisa said gently. "Tell me about them." Mia pointed to each figure. "This is the mom, this is the dad, and these are the kids. They live in a big house and have a dog." Her voice was so soft that Lisa had to lean in to hear her properly. "Do you have a dog?" Lisa asked. Mia shook her head. "We live in an apartment, no pets allowed." She paused, then added, "And it's just me and my mom." Lisa felt a familiar ache in her chest. She understood what it felt like when families changed shape, when the picture you had in your mind didn't match reality anymore. "That sounds nice, though, just you and your mom. I bet you 2 have fun together." Mia nodded, but her eyes drifted back to her drawing. She traced the outline of the father figure with her finger, going over the lines again and again until they became thick and dark. The center started to quiet down as parents arrived to pick up their children. Lisa watched as dads scooped up, their kids asking about their day and helping them pack their backpacks. She saw the way Mia watched too, her eyes following each father-child pair until they disappeared through the front door. As Lisa started cleaning up her tutoring station, she heard soft footsteps behind her. She turned to find Mia standing there, clutching her drawing to her chest. "Miss Lisa?" Mia's voice was barely above a whisper. "Yes, sweetie?" Mia looked around to make sure no one else was listening, then stepped closer. She stood on her tiptoes and cupped her small hand around her mouth, leaning toward Lisa's ear. "Can I have a dad?" The words hit Lisa like a gentle but unexpected wave. She felt her breath catch in her throat as she looked down at this small person who had just asked for something so big, so fundamental, with the same innocence she might ask for a cookie or a hug. Mia stepped back, her big brown eyes searching Lisa's face for an answer. In that moment, Lisa saw herself reflected in those eyes. She remembered being young and wishing for things that seemed impossible, asking questions that adults didn't know how to answer. "Oh, honey," Lisa whispered back, kneeling down to Mia's eye level. "That's a very big question," Mia nodded seriously. "I know. My mom says some questions don't have easy answers, but I thought maybe you would know because you help kids with hard things." Lisa felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. This child had just trusted her with something precious and fragile, and she didn't want to break that trust with empty promises or complicated explanations. "Can I think about your question?" Lisa asked. "Sometimes the most important questions need time to find the right answer." Mia brightened slightly. "Okay, I can wait." She handed Lisa the drawing she had been holding. "This is for you. Maybe it will help you think." Lisa took the picture carefully, as if it were made of glass. Looking at it again, she realized the family in the drawing had changed. Now there were 3 figures instead of 4, but they were still holding hands, still smiling under the bright sun. "Thank you, Mia. This is the most beautiful picture anyone has ever given me." Just then, a tired-looking woman appeared in the doorway. She had the same dark curls as Mia and wore scrubs that suggested she had just finished a long shift at work. Mija, time to go," the woman called softly. Mia gathered her crayons quickly and stuffed them into her backpack. Before running to her mother, she turned back to Lisa one more time. "Don't forget to think about my question, okay?" Lisa nodded, still holding the drawing. "I won't forget, I promise." She watched as Mia took her mother's hand, and they walked toward the bus stop outside. The woman looked exhausted, and Lisa could see her checking her phone, probably calculating bus schedules and work shifts in her head. As Lisa drove home that evening, Mia's whispered question echoed in her mind. "Can I have a dad?" It was such a simple request from such a small person, but it carried the weight of longing, of watching other families and wondering why hers looked different. Lisa parked in her driveway and sat for a moment, still holding Mia's drawing. She thought about her own daughter, who would be returning from her father's house tomorrow, full of stories about their adventures together. She thought about the divorce, about how it had shattered one version of family, but maybe, just maybe, created space for something new. That night, Lisa couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about a 7-year-old girl who drew perfect families and asked impossible questions. She thought about brown eyes full of hope and trust, about small hands offering precious gifts, about the power of a whispered wish to change everything. She didn't know it yet, but that whispered question was about to transform not just her life, but the lives of everyone it touched. Sometimes the most powerful moments come in the smallest packages, delivered by the most unexpected messengers. And sometimes, when someone asks if they can have what they need most, the universe conspires to make it possible. 3 days had passed since Mia asked her question, but Lisa couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw those hopeful brown eyes looking up at her. The drawing Mia had given her now sat on her kitchen table, where she looked at it every morning over coffee. Lisa found herself researching mentorship programs online late into the night. She read about Big Sisters, about community mentor programs, about all the ways adults could make a difference in a child's life. But each website she visited seemed to have endless forms, background checks, and waiting lists that stretched for months. Her daughter Kate noticed her mother's distraction right away. "Mom, you've been staring at that cereal for 10 minutes, Kate said one morning, sliding into the chair across from her. At 11 years old, Kate had her father's sharp eyes and her mother's stubborn streak. Lisa blinked and looked down at her bowl. The cereal had turned soggy while she daydreamed about a little girl who drew families. "Sorry, honey. Just thinking about something." "About that kid from the community center?" Kate asked, stirring her own cereal. "You've been talking about her all week." Lisa was surprised. She hadn't realized she'd been talking about Mia that much. "Her name is Mia. She's 7. And she wants a dad," Kate said matter-of-factly. "You told me yesterday, and the day before that." Heat crept up Lisa's neck. "I didn't realize I was being so obvious." Kate shrugged. It's okay. I think it's cool that you want to help her. But what are you going to do about it? That was the question Lisa had been avoiding. What could she do? She wasn't looking to become anyone's mother again. She was still figuring out how to be a divorced mom to one child, let alone taking on responsibility for another. But when she arrived at the community center that afternoon, she found herself looking for Mia before she even set up her tutoring station. The little girl was in her usual spot, but today she wasn't drawing. Instead, she was reading a picture book, moving her finger under each word as she sounded it out quietly. Hi, Mia, Lisa said, approaching the corner. What are you reading? Mia looked up and smiled. It's about a little bear who gets lost in the forest, but a nice family of rabbits helps him find his way home. Lisa sat down beside her. That sounds like a good story. It is. The rabbits didn't have to help the bear, but they did anyway, because they were kind. Mia closed the book and looked at Lisa seriously. Did you think about my question? Lisa's heart skipped. I did think about it. A lot, actually. And? Mia's eyes were full of hope. Well, I learned that there are programs where adults can spend time with kids who need extra friends, like mentors. Would you like to know more about that? Mia nodded eagerly. Does that mean I could have someone like a dad? It means you could have someone who cares about you and wants to spend time with you. Someone who could help you with things and take you places and be there when you need them. Like go to the park and maybe learn to ride a bike. Lisa felt her chest tighten. Yes, things like that. Mia was quiet for a moment, thinking this over. Would that person like me even if I'm not their real kid? The innocence of the question nearly broke Lisa's heart. Oh, sweetie, of course they would like you. You're smart and kind and funny. Anyone would be lucky to spend time with you. Even you? Mia asked in a small voice. Lisa looked into those trusting eyes and felt something shift inside her chest. Especially me. That evening, Lisa called her best friend Carmen for advice. Carmen had been her rock through the divorce, always ready with practical wisdom and strong coffee. So let me get this straight, Carmen said over the phone. A 7-year-old girl asked if she could have a dad, and now you're thinking about becoming her mentor? I know it sounds crazy, Lisa said, pacing around her living room. But Carmen, you should see her. She's so sweet and smart, and she just wants someone to care about her. And her mother? What's she like? Lisa realized she didn't know much about Mia's mother beyond the brief glimpses at pickup time. She seems nice but tired. Really tired. I think she works a lot. Lisa, honey, I think what you want to do is beautiful. But are you ready for this? You're still adjusting to life after the divorce. Kate is adjusting too. Adding another child to the mix, even as a mentor, is a big deal. Lisa knew Carmen was right, but she also knew she couldn't forget Mia's question. What if I start small, just spending a little more time with her at the center, helping with homework? That sounds more reasonable, Carmen agreed. Just promise me you'll be careful with your heart, and with hers. The next week, Lisa made a point of arriving at the community center early. She wanted to talk to Mia's mother, whose name she learned was Rosa. Rosa worked as a nursing assistant at the hospital and often looked exhausted when she picked up Mia. Lisa approached Rosa carefully one evening as she was gathering Mia's things. Excuse me, I'm Lisa. I volunteer here with the homework program. Rosa looked up, immediately alert. Is everything okay? Did Mia cause any trouble? Oh no, not at all. Mia is wonderful. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you about spending some extra time with her, if that would be okay with you. Rosa's expression became guarded. What kind of extra time? Lisa understood the wariness. As a mother, she would be suspicious too if a stranger wanted to spend time with her child. I've noticed that Mia loves to read and draw, and I was thinking maybe I could help her with some projects. Nothing official, just being a friend. Rosa studied Lisa's face for a long moment. Why my daughter? It was a fair question, and Lisa decided to answer honestly. Because she asked me something that I can't stop thinking about. and because I think she deserves to have people in her life who believe she's special. Something in Rosa's expression softened. She's special. She's the best thing in my life. I can see that. You've raised an incredible little girl. Rosa was quiet, then sighed deeply. It's just hard, you know? I work so much, and I know she needs more than I can give her, right now. I see other kids with their dads, and I know she notices too. Would it help if she had someone to talk to? Someone who could take her to the park sometimes or help with school projects? Rosa looked over at Mia, who was carefully putting her crayons back in their box. You really want to do this? I really do. Okay, Rosa said slowly. We can try it, but slowly, okay? I need to know she's safe. Of course, whatever makes you comfortable. That Saturday, Lisa took Mia to the small park near the community center. It was their first official outing together, and Mia chattered nervously the whole way there. I've never been to this park before, Mia said, practically bouncing in her seat. Mom says it has the best swings in the whole city. At the park, Lisa watched Mia run from the swings to the slide to the monkey bars, her joy infectious. Other families were there too, parents pushing toddlers on baby swings, dads teaching kids to climb the rock wall, moms chatting while their children played. Mia noticed them too. She watched a father teaching his son to pump his legs on the swing, her expression wistful. Do you want me to push you? Lisa offered. Mia nodded eagerly and climbed onto the swing. As Lisa pushed her higher and higher, Mia's laughter filled the air. This is the best day ever, Mia shouted, her hair flying behind her. Later, as they sat on a bench sharing a bag of goldfish crackers, Mia looked up at Lisa with serious eyes. Lisa? Yeah? Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being mine, Lisa replied and meant it completely. As they walked back to meet Rosa, Mia slipped her small hand into Lisa's larger one. It was such a natural gesture, but it made Lisa's heart race. She was falling in love with this brave little girl who asked for what she needed and trusted so completely. That night, Lisa sat at her kitchen table filling out the paperwork for the official mentorship program. It would take months to process, but she wanted to do things the right way. She wanted to be the person Mia deserved, someone reliable, someone who wouldn't disappear when things got complicated. Kate found her there an hour later, surrounded by forms and reference letters. So you're really doing this? Kate asked. I think I am. Kate was quiet for a moment. Will you still have time for me? Lisa looked up at her daughter, seeing the uncertainty there. Always. You're my priority no matter what. But maybe our family can grow a little bigger. Maybe there's room for more love. Kate smiled slowly. I'd like to meet her sometime. I'd like that too. Lisa looked down at Mia's drawing, still sitting on her table after all these days. The 3 stick figures holding hands seemed to smile back at her, full of possibility and hope. Maybe families didn't have to look like the pictures in books. Maybe they could be whatever shape love made them. 2 months had passed since Lisa officially became Mia's mentor, and their weekly outings had become the highlight of both their weeks. Today was special, though. Lisa was taking Mia to the zoo for the first time in her life. Mia had been talking about it for days, asking questions about every animal they might see. She had checked out 3 library books about zoo animals and could now tell you interesting facts about giraffes, elephants, and penguins. Did you know that penguins can hold their breath underwater for 20 minutes? Mia asked as they walked through the entrance gates. I didn't know that, Lisa replied, genuinely impressed. You've become quite the animal expert. The zoo was crowded with families enjoying the sunny Saturday afternoon. Mia stayed close to Lisa at first, overwhelmed by all the people and noise. But as they approached the first exhibit, her excitement took over. Look, the giraffes are so tall, she exclaimed, pressing her face against the viewing glass. Lisa watched Mia more than the animals. She loved seeing the world through this child's eyes. Everything was fascinating, every moment was an adventure. But she also noticed how Mia watched the other families around them. She saw the little girl's eyes follow a dad who was lifting his daughter up to get a better view, and a grandfather who was patiently explaining elephant behavior to his grandson. At the penguin exhibit, Mia tugged on Lisa's sleeve. "Lisa, can I tell you something?" "Of course, sweetie." Mia looked around to make sure no one was listening, then whispered, "Sometimes I pretend you're my mom when we're out like this." Lisa's heart did a little flip. "Is that okay? That you pretend that?" Mia nodded seriously. "It makes me feel safe and happy." "It makes me happy too," Lisa whispered back. They spent the whole day exploring every corner of the zoo. Mia was fascinated by the monkey house, where she watched the baby monkeys play with their parents. She clapped for the sea lions during feeding time and gasped in wonder at the colorful birds in the tropical house. But the moment that would stay with Lisa forever happened at the butterfly garden. They were walking through the enclosed space filled with hundreds of butterflies when one landed gently on Mia's shoulder. "Lisa, look," Mia whispered, standing perfectly still. "It chose me." The butterfly, orange and black with delicate spotted wings, sat on Mia's shoulder for nearly a minute. Other visitors gathered around to watch, everyone speaking in hushed tones so as not to scare it away. "You must be very special," an elderly man said to Mia. "Butterflies only land on people with kind hearts." Mia beamed at Lisa. "Did you hear that? I have a kind heart." "The kindest," Lisa agreed, taking a picture of Mia with her new friend. On the drive home, Mia fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted from their adventure. Lisa glanced at her in the rearview mirror and felt her chest tighten with an emotion she wasn't quite ready to name yet. The next week brought a new challenge. Mia had mentioned several times that she wanted to learn to ride a bike, but Rosa couldn't afford one and had never learned to ride herself. Lisa decided to surprise Mia by bringing 2 bikes to the park, a small pink one for Mia and her own bike so they could ride together. "Is that for me?" Mia asked in disbelief when she saw the small bike. "It's yours to use whenever we're together," Lisa explained. "What do you think?" Mia ran her hand along the handlebars like she was petting a precious animal. "It's the most beautiful bike in the whole world." Learning to ride turned out to be harder than either of them expected. Mia was brave but nervous, and Lisa found herself running alongside the bike for what felt like hours, one hand on the seat to keep Mia steady. "I can't do it," Mia said after her 5th fall. She wasn't hurt, but she was frustrated and close to tears. Lisa knelt down beside her. "Hey, look at me. Do you remember what you told me about the book with the lost bear?" Mia wiped her eyes and nodded. "You said the rabbits helped the bear even though they didn't have to, because they were kind. Well, I'm here to help you because I care about you. And I'm not going anywhere until you're riding this bike all by yourself. Promise?" "Promise." It took 3 more tries, but suddenly something clicked. Lisa let go of the bike and Mia kept pedaling, her face transforming from concentration to pure joy as she realized she was doing it alone. "Lisa! Lisa, look, I'm riding!" she shouted, wobbling slightly but staying upright. "You're amazing," Lisa called back, running alongside her. "You did it!" They spent the rest of the afternoon riding around the park paths. Mia couldn't stop smiling, and she wanted to call everyone she knew to tell them about her accomplishment. "Can I call my mom, and Kate, and my teacher? I want everyone to know." That evening, as Lisa helped Mia call Rosa to share the news, she realized how much their lives had become intertwined. Mia's victories felt like her own victories. Mia's happiness had become essential to her own happiness. The following week brought an unexpected moment that showed Lisa just how much trust Mia had placed in her. It was a Tuesday evening, and Lisa was at home helping Kate with homework when her phone rang. It was Rosa, and she sounded upset. "Lisa, I'm so sorry to call you like this, but Mia had a nightmare and she's asking for you. She won't calm down and I have to work early tomorrow morning." "Of course," Lisa said without hesitation. "I'll be right there." When Lisa arrived at their small apartment, she found Mia curled up on the couch with tears on her cheeks. The moment she saw Lisa, she ran into her arms. "I had a bad dream," Mia whispered. "There were monsters and I couldn't find you or Mom anywhere." Lisa held her close, stroking her hair. "It was just a dream, sweetheart. I'm here now, and you're safe." "Will you stay until I fall asleep?" Lisa looked at Rosa, who nodded gratefully. Of course I will. Lisa sat beside Mia's bed, reading story after story until the little girl's eyes grew heavy. As Mia drifted off to sleep, she reached for Lisa's hand. Lisa? Yes? I love you. The words hung in the air like a gift. Lisa felt tears prick her eyes as she squeezed Mia's small hand. I love you too, little one. Walking to her car later that night, Lisa realized that somewhere along the way, this had stopped being just mentoring. This had become something deeper, more permanent. Mia wasn't just a child she helped once a week. She was becoming like family. The next Saturday, Lisa decided it was time for Kate and Mia to spend more time together. She had been keeping them somewhat separate, unsure of how Kate would react to sharing her mother's attention. But watching Kate's curiosity about Mia grow, she thought they might actually enjoy each other. Mia, I'd like you to meet my daughter Kate, Lisa said when they all met at the park. Kate, who had been nervous about the meeting, stepped forward with a shy smile. Hi, Mia. Mom tells me you're learning to ride a bike. I am. Want to see? Mia was eager to show off her new skill. Lisa watched as the two girls spent the afternoon together. Kate, naturally protective and mature for her age, quickly took Mia under her wing. She helped her on the monkey bars, pushed her on the swings, and patiently taught her a clapping game. She's really cool, Kate whispered to Lisa when Mia was distracted by a group of ducks. You think so? Yeah, she's funny and brave, and she really loves you, Mom. I really love her too. Kate was quiet for a moment. Is she going to be like our family now? It was the question Lisa had been asking herself for weeks. Would that be okay with you? Kate smiled. I think I'd like having a little sister. That evening, as they said goodbye to Mia, the little girl hugged Kate tightly. Will I see you again soon? Mia asked. Definitely, Kate replied. Maybe next time I can teach you how to play my favorite game. Driving home, Lisa felt like pieces of a puzzle were falling into place. Kate and Mia had connected naturally, and Rosa was beginning to see Lisa as more than just a mentor. The lines between helper and family were blurring, and instead of scaring Lisa, it felt right. A week later, Mia gave Lisa another drawing. This one showed 4 stick figures standing in front of a house, 2 taller ones and 2 smaller ones. Above them, she had written in careful letters, My family. This is you, Mia pointed to one of the tall figures. And this is Mom, and this is me, and this is Kate. Lisa studied the drawing, seeing not just the simple figures but the hope and love they represented. It's perfect, she said, meaning it completely. Do you think it could be real someday? Mia asked quietly. Lisa looked into those trusting brown eyes and saw not just a child asking for something impossible, but a little girl who had taught her that families could be built with love, patience, and the courage to care for each other. I think anything is possible when people love each other like we do, Lisa said. Mia smiled and threw her arms around Lisa's neck. I'm so glad I asked you my question that day. Me too, sweetheart. Me too. 3 days had passed since Mia whispered her question, but Lisa couldn't get it out of her head. Every quiet moment brought back those hopeful brown eyes and that tiny voice asking for something so big. The drawing Mia had given her now lived on her refrigerator, where she saw it dozens of times a day. Lisa started staying up too late, scrolling through websites about mentorship programs, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, community volunteer programs, after-school mentoring. There were so many ways to help kids, but every site seemed to have mountains of paperwork, background checks that took months, and waiting lists longer than her grocery receipts. Her daughter Amy picked up on her mom's distraction pretty quickly. You're doing that thing again? Amy said one Tuesday morning, poking at her toast. At 12 years old, Amy had inherited her grandmother's ability to read people like open books. What thing? Lisa asked, though she knew exactly what Amy meant. That thing where you stir your coffee but never drink it, and you stare at nothing but you're thinking really hard about something. Lisa looked down at her mug. The coffee had gone cold while she'd been lost in thought about a 7-year-old girl who drew perfect families. I'm just trying to figure something out. Is it about that little girl from where you volunteer? Mia? Lisa was surprised Amy remembered her name. How did you know that? Amy rolled her eyes. Mom, you've mentioned her like 20 times this week. You told me about her drawings, her quiet voice, how she sits alone in the corner, and yesterday you spent 10 minutes describing how carefully she puts her crayons away. Heat rose in Lisa's cheeks. She hadn't realized she'd been talking about Mia so much. She asked me something that I keep thinking about, Lisa admitted. What? Did she ask? Lisa hesitated. It felt strange to share Mia's private question, but Amy was looking at her with such genuine curiosity. She asked if she could have a dad. Amy's expression softened immediately. Oh, that's really sad. It is, but it's also, I don't know how to help her with something like that. Amy was quiet for a moment, thinking in that serious way that made her seem older than 12. Maybe you can't give her a dad, but you could be like an important grown-up in her life. Like how Aunt Jenny is important to me, even though she's not my mom. Lisa felt something click in her chest. Leave it to her wise daughter to see the simple truth she'd been missing. When Lisa arrived at the community center that afternoon, she found herself scanning the room for Mia before she even hung up her jacket. The little girl was in her usual corner, but instead of drawing, she was struggling with what looked like math homework. Need some help with that? Lisa asked, settling down beside her. Mia looked up with relief. I can't figure out these word problems. They're really confusing. Lisa looked at the worksheet. Second grade addition and subtraction problems disguised as stories about buying apples and counting birds. Let's read this one together, Lisa said gently. If Jenny has 8 stickers and gives 3 to her friend, how many does she have left? As they worked through the problems, Lisa noticed how hard Mia concentrated, her tongue poking out slightly when she was really focused. She also noticed how Mia kept glancing up at her, as if checking to make sure Lisa was still there. Miss Lisa? Mia said quietly as they finished the last problem. Yes, sweetheart. Did you think about what I asked you, about having a dad? Lisa's heart did that skipping thing again. I did think about it. I thought about it a lot. Mia set down her pencil and turned to face Lisa completely. What did you think? I thought about how there are different ways for people to care about each other, like how you have your mom who loves you very much, and you also have teachers who care about you and friends who like spending time with you. Mia nodded slowly. Like how I love my mom the most, but I also love my teacher, Mrs. Garcia, and she's not my mom, but she's still special? Exactly like that. And I was thinking that maybe you could have a special grown-up friend who could do some of the things that dads do, like help you with projects or take you to fun places or just be someone you can talk to. Mia's eyes grew wide. Like a pretend dad? Not pretend. Real. Just a different kind of family person. Mia was quiet for a long moment, processing this idea. Lisa could practically see the wheels turning in her head. Would that person really want to spend time with me? Mia asked finally. Even though I'm not their kid? The question hit Lisa right in the heart. Oh, Mia, you are such a special little girl. You're smart and kind and creative. Any grown-up would feel lucky to spend time with you. Even you? Lisa looked into those trusting brown eyes and felt her whole world shift. Especially me. That evening, Lisa called her best friend Diana for advice. Diana had been her sounding board through the divorce, the job changes, and every major decision in the last 5 years. Let me make sure I understand this, Diana said over the phone. A 7-year-old girl asked if she could have a dad, and now you're thinking about becoming her mentor? When you say it like that, it sounds crazy, Lisa admitted, pacing around her kitchen. I didn't say it was crazy, I said I wanted to understand. Tell me about this little girl. Lisa found herself talking for 20 minutes straight about Mia, her drawings, her quiet observations, her careful way of putting away her crayons, the way she watched other families with such longing. She sounds wonderful, Diana said when Lisa finally paused. But Lisa, honey, are you sure you're ready for this? You're still figuring out your new life after the divorce. Amy is adjusting to everything too. Taking on another child, even as a mentor, is a big commitment. Lisa knew Diana was right. Her life was still pretty messy. She was learning to be a single mom, dealing with her ex-husband's unpredictable schedule, trying to figure out her finances. Did she really have room for more complications? But then she thought about Mia's drawing on her refrigerator. Those 3 stick figures holding hands, smiling under a bright sun. What if I start small? Lisa suggested. Just spending more time with her at the center, getting to know her mom, seeing if there's really something there worth pursuing. That sounds more reasonable, Diana agreed. Just promise me you'll be careful with both your hearts. Kids get attached quickly, and so do women with big hearts like yours. The next day, Lisa made a plan. She would talk to Rosa, Mia's mom, and see how she felt about Lisa spending more time with her daughter. She would be honest about what she was thinking, and let Rosa decide if it felt right for their family. Rosa was usually rushing when she picked up Mia, juggling her work schedule and the bus timetable. But this Thursday, Lisa noticed she seemed less frantic than usual. "Excuse me, Rosa?" Lisa approached carefully. "I'm Lisa. I volunteer here with the tutoring program." Rosa looked up from packing Mia's backpack. "Oh yes, Mia talks about you. You help her with her math homework." "I do. She's a wonderful little girl. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you about spending some extra time with her, if that would be something you'd be comfortable with." Rosa's expression immediately became guarded. What kind of extra time? Lisa understood the suspicion. If someone wanted to spend extra time with Amy, Lisa would have a million questions too. Nothing formal, just maybe taking her to the park sometimes or helping with school projects, being a friend. "Why Mia?" Rosa asked directly. Lisa decided to be completely honest. "Because she's special, and because I think she could use another adult in her corner who believes in her." Rosa studied Lisa's face for what felt like a very long time. Finally, her shoulders relaxed slightly. "It's hard being the only parent," Rosa said quietly. "I work so much and I know she needs more than I can give her right now. She sees other kids with their fathers and I see her watching." "You're doing an amazing job with her," Lisa said sincerely. "Mia is kind and smart and creative because of how you've raised her. I'm not trying to replace anything. I just want to add to what she already has." Rosa looked over at Mia, who was carefully organizing her crayons by color. "She really likes you," Rosa said. "She talks about Miss Lisa every day. I really like her too." Rosa was quiet for another moment, then nodded slowly. "Okay, we can try it, but slowly, okay? I need to make sure she's safe and that this is good for her. Of course, whatever makes you comfortable." That Saturday, Lisa took Mia to the small park 3 blocks from the community center. It was their first official outing together, and Mia had been talking about it all week. As they walked to the park, Mia slipped her small hand into Lisa's without saying anything. The gesture was so natural, so trusting, that Lisa felt tears prick her eyes. At the park, Lisa watched Mia discover the joy of the tall slide, the challenge of the monkey bars, and the simple pleasure of swinging as high as she could go. But she also watched Mia observe the other families around them, the dad teaching his daughter to climb the rock wall, the grandfather pushing his grandson on the baby swings. "Lisa," Mia said as they sat on a bench sharing a bag of animal crackers. "Yeah, sweetie? Thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for coming with me." Mia was quiet for a moment, then looked up at Lisa with those serious brown eyes. "Is this what it feels like to have a dad? Someone who takes you places and cares if you're having fun?" Lisa's throat tightened. "I think this is what it feels like, to have people who love you and want you to be happy." "I love you, Miss Lisa." "I love you too, Mia." As they walked back to meet,